And the
great.
last question,
Yes.
we are asking last question. In all three Abrahamic religions, Rabbi Gordis, people expect a time when people will be more religious, more close to God, and there will be social justice and economic welfare. Do you think the time for this is close? And despite the turmoil on earth, there are signs that this better, transformed world is close by. What's your opinion on this? And do you see this era getting closer?
What I can say to that is, Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Mashallah.
Emeritus Hashem.
Mashallah.
Emeritus Hashem, yes.
Yes.
There are, I think, conflicting signs. There are ways in which I think we do see that there is greater sensitivity to the other, greater openness. Part of it is because communication. Look at the miracle that we're doing now. You in Istanbul and I 7 hours earlier in New York talking as friends as if we've known each other for a long time. And I've been in your wonderful city. It's an extraordinary city. And I look forward to visiting again. But so I think that's one of the things which is a good sign. It opens the possibility of communication. But you know, we have in Judaism we say, Lo navi ani v'lo ben navi. I'm not a prophet or a son of a prophet. So sometimes it's more useful, instead of trying to speculate on whether it's going to be soon or later, to ask ourselves, what is it that we have to do to make it happen sooner? And I think all the things that you're doing and the things that we are talking about all contribute to making that better time, that time of repair, that time of healing, closer. Each of us will talk about God in our own way, in our own traditions, but if we can find a way that our religious traditions can sensitize us to the pain of the other, to empathize with the fact that all of us ultimately will experience that, and we can contribute to alleviating that pain, and we can teach it and bring it about, then we will have contributed to bringing that time closer, as you all and I hope it will be. As soon as it can be, inshallah, in Yitzhak Hashem.
Emeritus Hashem, yes.
Inshallah.
And we believe the signs which are given in the Torah and Islam are very parallel. They're almost exactly the same. So we are living in this era. For example, 10 years ago, we hadn't that kind of conversation, this beautiful conversation that you're making right now. We couldn't hear that kind of conversation 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So that means these times are very close by. We are living in these times. And we believe also, this is also from the Torah and Islamic sources, these are what's happening right now in the conflicts and the turmoil is like painful contractions of a birth. As you know, the last stage of the birth is the most painful part. And these signs, what's happening in the Middle East or in the entire world, are painful contractions of a birth, and which is coming very close by. So we had a very beautiful conversation.
Call them in Hebrew, Chevlei Mashiach, the pains and the anguish of the Messiah, prior to the Messiah. So I would hope that you're right. I'm you know, kind of discouraged about the Middle East situation. I've always said that you cannot be, and you know, you heard from the description of it, you cannot be pro-Israel without being pro-Palestinian. Because the only hope for that whole part of the world is that there be peace between Israel and Palestine and of course Egypt and Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria comes out of this terrible problem that it's in. But I'm hoping that the anguish is really, as you're saying, and as you're saying is foretold in our common traditions, that it will precede something which is much better. And again, we should say, inshallah.